I'm delighted to welcome you to this 9th edition of the International Maritime Business to Business Conference, which is part of the Lagos International Maritime Week. As is our custom, we usually mirror the International Maritime Organization's theme for the World Maritime Day every year. And so this year we shall be dealing with navigating the future of Africa's marine and blue economy, safety first.
In the maritime world, safety is not merely a regulatory obligation. It is a critical component and an enabler of economic growth.
Our role is always in conjunction with other relevant security agencies like the Navy and other safety agencies such as NIMASA.
So issue of bias is a very critical thing that women face in the industry.
I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, especially for your patience and for your active participation, your questions, and your interactions with everybody that has come here today. I want to welcome each and every one of us to the Lagos International Maritime Week, the 9th edition, 2024. This year is themed Navigating the Future of Africa's Marine and Blue Economy, Safety First. So while we'll be discussing the future of African, the maritime sector and blue economy, we shall focus essentially on safety. As usual, and as we've done over the years, we have gathered a panel of seasoned professionals who shall be talking to us and help drive the discussion towards the development of the maritime sector in Nigeria, in Africa, and beyond its borders. We want to ask that you enjoy our comfort, our hospitality, even as we interact and learn, and also interact with one another in the development of our sector. We shall begin the program immediately, and if you look at your programs, though we are behind time, we have the registration of delegates, which I'm sure all of us have done. Then we shall have the welcome address by the convener. Without wasting any more time, I shall call on the convener of this special Lagos International Maritime Week, the chairman of Zoe Maritime Resources Limited, Mrs. Orisematoson Edodo Emore. Please, a round of applause as she comes to the podium. She is a maritime lawyer, maritime expert, maritime consultant. I'm sure you can do better than that, please.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Ambassador Adenike Okonga, the representative of the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, ladies and gentlemen, it's always a great pleasure to come to the Lagos International Maritime Week. It's always an honor to have an array of distinguished people honor our invitation and actually come here. So I'm delighted to welcome you to this 9th edition of the International Maritime Business to Business Conference, which is part of the Lagos International Maritime Week. As is our custom, we usually mirror the International Maritime Organization's theme for the World Maritime Day every year. And so this year we shall be dealing with navigating the future of Africa's marine and blue economy, safety first. So we shall be dealing with maritime security and safety. Maritime security and safety is key to the actualization of Africa's marine and blue economy. The introduction of new technologies, the use of alternative fuels, digitalization has had a significant effect on shipping worldwide, and this transformative effect is felt in our continent. With the establishment of the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy by the present administration, Nigeria now possesses the impetus to pursue and focus her development on the marine and blue economy. But maritime safety is key to this development. We are greatly honored to receive the maritime icon, the erudite Greg Ogbeifun, who was meant to deliver the public lecture, although he would no longer be doing that. But it's important to note his accomplishment because we're going to be honoring him with a Lifetime Achievement Award. Mr. Ogbeifun is an accomplished ship repairer, and he's a clear example of what mastery of the industry can mean to any economy. With his array of companies, he has not only affected the shipbuilding and ship repair industry in Nigeria, he has also passed on the baton to a younger generation, which is an example that we emulate. We are proud of him, not only for the leadership and example that he has shown to the maritime industry in Nigeria, but also for the fact that men like him are a beacon of excellence in the continent. As is our custom, the conference, in fact, the Lagos International Maritime Week and the Maritime Business and Business Conference usually starts with a roundtable on maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. We are honored to welcome the British Royal Navy to this auspicious roundtable for the first time. This roundtable is always led by the Chief of the Naval Staff of the Nigerian Navy. In the past, we have welcomed the French Navy and the US Navy. And we're happy to see some representatives of the US Navy here, although they're not in the uniform. It is important for us to continue to keep abreast with regional and international cooperation in securing the Gulf of Guinea, which is both an important trade route to the world and also a gateway to the West and Central African sub-region. The Lagos International Maritime Week continues to play a pivotal role in the development of the maritime industry in Nigeria and beyond. We are delighted this year to be able to take delegates on an excursion to the Lekki Deep Sea Port, which is one of the newest and most important investment in Nigeria's marine and blue economy. We urge everyone to visit the exhibition. There's a lot to be seen because the exhibition is the essence of the international business and business-to-business interactions which we seek to achieve. We wish to thank our sponsors who have made this event possible, especially as this year we have not charged a conference fee. So we are very grateful to the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, to Yao Insurance Brokers, to Stanbic IBTC Bank, to the Nigerian LNG Shipping and Marine Services Limited, to Lekki Port, Nigerian Shippers Council, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, Fitzwilliams Ventures, and Ewola Ayomikbo. Please enjoy the event and please forgive our shortcomings. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, without wasting further time, we shall call on The Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Alhaji Adegboyega Oyetola, ably represented by Mr. Mbampita Chinedu, the Director, Legal Services, to deliver the keynote address. A round of applause to him as he comes up to the rostrum. Please, can we keep making him welcome until he gets here? Thank you very much.
Thank you, the MC. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Like the MC rightly said, my name is Mbampita Chinedu. I have the honor of representing the Honorable Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, His Excellency Adegboyega Oyetola, who wish to be here personally because of the importance of this function, but because of other state engagement, he is not here today. He has asked me to welcome all of you, ask you to feel at home, especially those of you from outside the shores of Nigeria. So having said that, I will go straight now and deliver his keynote speech the way he wrote it. They are not my own words. Protocols, distinguished guests, esteemed stakeholders, maritime professionals, it is an honor to address you at the 9th International Maritime Business to Business Conference and Exhibitions. Today's gathering provides us with a platform to assess the future of Africa's maritime sector and engage in meaningful dialogue to shape its direction. The theme of this conference, Navigating the Future of Africa's Marine and Blue Economy, Safety First, is especially significant because safety remains the cornerstone upon which all maritime operations and business success rests. In the maritime world, safety is not merely a regulatory obligation. It is a critical component and an enabler of economic growth, trade, and investment. Ensuring the safety of our waters is crucial for securing Africa's economic future and unlocking the vast potentials of the blue economy. In its absence, businesses encounter heightened risk, operational disruptions, and diminished investors' confidence. However, when safety is prioritized, it fosters a secure and stable environment where commerce prospers, investment grows, and innovation thrives. This administration, under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, recognizes the compelling need to enhance maritime security. Through key initiatives such as the Deep Blue Project, we have recorded a quantum leap in reducing maritime crimes, including piracy and smuggling in Nigerian waters and across the Gulf of Guinea. This has made maritime space safer and more conducive for businesses, resulting in improved throughput and enhanced efficiency. As safety improves, businesses flourish and trade becomes more reliable. The significance of this conference theme goes beyond the immediate concern of crime reduction. A safe maritime environment has a far-reaching implications for trade, especially intra-African trade, which holds enormous potential for regional economic integration and growth. By ensuring the safety of our waters, we open shipping routes, strengthen logistics network, and expand the flow of goods across the continent. This, in turn, promotes trade facilitation, increases cargo throughput, and elevates Africa's competitiveness in the global maritime space. In line with the Renewed Hope agenda, this administration is fully committed to driving the modernization of our ports and maritime infrastructure. We understand that the port's efficiency and safety are not options. They are imperatives for unlocking the full potential of the blue economy. By upgrading our ports to global standard, we are positioning Nigeria and Africa to become leaders in international maritime trade, ensuring that our ports are gateways of prosperity, not bottlenecks. Equally important is the need to provide a robust legal and regulatory framework that fosters investors' confidence and protects the interests of stakeholders. Government is currently revising our maritime laws to align them with international best practices. By focusing on transparency, effective dispute resolution, and arbitration, we aim to create a business environment where investors feel secure and where maritime operations can flourish without unnecessary legal or operational bottlenecks. In pursuit of greater economic benefit from the blue economy, it is crucial to remain mindful of the importance of environmental sustainability. Government policies are designed to strike this balance by promoting sustainable fishing practices, conserving maritime biodiversity, and mitigating maritime pollution. These measures are vital for ensuring that the future of African maritime industry remains both economically prosperous and environmentally responsible. Through initiatives like the Deep Blue Project and post-modernization efforts, we are laying the groundwork for a maritime sector that can fully support the growth of intra-African trade. By ensuring that the waters remain secure, we are creating an ecosystem in which businesses can thrive, jobs can be created, and economies can grow. This is the foundation upon which the blue economy will flourish, driving Africa's economic transformation and global competitiveness. However, this vision cannot be achieved in isolation. The success of Africa's maritime and blue economy depends on collaboration between governments, the private sector, and the international partners. The safety-first approach is not only a national priority, but a shared responsibility. I call on all stakeholders to take ownership of this goal. Let us work together to ensure the safety of our waters, the security of our businesses, and a prosperous future for all. The future of Africa's blue economy is filled with promise, but it requires our ongoing commitment to safety and security. By prioritizing safety, we unlock the true potential of our maritime resources, ensuring long-term growth, trade, and investment for generations to come. I extend my gratitude to Zoo Maritime Resources Limited for organizing this vital event, and to all of you for your unwavering commitment to maritime sector. Let us navigate this journey with confidence, knowing that safety first is the compass guiding us to a bright and prosperous future. I wish you fruitful deliberation, and thank you for your attention.
A round of applause for Mr. Wade, represented by Ms. Sophie Ebuzo. We shall have a brief profile of Mr. Ogbeifun before we present the award, please. Mr. Ogbeifun was born in 1951 in present-day Edo State. He obtained a combined first-class certificate of competency in marine engineering, steam and motor from the UK. He's the chairman CEO of Stars Investments Company Limited, managing director, CEO of Stars Marine and Engineering Limited, Chairman Eagle Watch Security Limited, and Chairman Diverse Engineering and Supply Limited. Stars Marine Shipyard is the oldest privately owned indigenous ship repair yard in Nigeria. Mr. Ogbeifun commissioned the first cabotage-compliant vessel, MV Osayame, for offshore services by an indigenous company in Nigeria in 2010. In 2019, he also commissioned the purpose-built Damen ASD tug, the MV Osayamo, the first of its kind and largest in the Damen ASD tug range, to service a long-term contract for an international oil company. He's a pioneer, president of the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria. As a contributor to the national development of the maritime sector, he has served in various governmental committees. He was a member presidential committee for the review and verification of all contracts awarded by MPA. Member implementation committee for the repositioning and restructuring of the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON. Member steering council for the business support group, Vision 2020. Member Ministerial Committee on Guideline Drafting for the Disbursement of Cabotage Vessels Financing Fund, CVVF. Member of the Advisory Board of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investment Council, UK. As a business leader, he received the Gold Merit Award as the Maritime Entrepreneur of the Year in the maritime and oil industry. He received an award for immense contribution to manpower development in the maritime industry by the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, ORON, an award as the Marine Logistics Services Provider of the Year 2013 in Cape Town, South Africa, and was also awarded the Most Outstanding Marine Engineer by Maritime Media Limited, to mention a few. Mr. Ogbeifun is a seasoned conference speaker and author of 2 books, Not Always Easy and Potentials of Nigeria's Maritime Economy. Today, the Lagos International Maritime Week also adds to his long list of awards by adding the Lifetime Achievement Award. A round of applause for Mr. Ogbeifun, please. Okay. So to present this award, we invite Her Excellency Ambassador Florentine Adenike Okonga to present this award, please. A round of applause for the ambassador as she steps up here. Thank you very much.
For all the services that Mr. Ogbeifun has rendered to the maritime sector of our economy, it is indeed an honor for me to present this award from the Zoo Maritime Resources Limited. And we wish him that he continue to do his best to ensure that Nigeria maritime sector is really what it should be.
A round of applause as she received the award. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we're not too cold. Are we cold? Yes. A round of applause for Mr. Ogbeifun, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you. All right. We shall go straight to the first session of the day. The first session is on maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. The moderator of this roundtable is none other than the ambassador, Madam Florentina Adenike Okonga, the immediate past executive secretary of the Gulf of Guinea Commission. A round of applause for her as she climbs up to the rostrum, please. Can the ushers please come around and help her come up to the rostrum, please? Can we continue to make her welcome until she gets up to the rostrum? Thank you very much. Let's continue clapping, please. She hasn't gotten to her destination yet. Thank you. All right. The topic is regional collaboration on maritime safety and security to enhance development of the blue economy in the Gulf of Guinea. Other members of the panel are Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, Chief of the Naval Staff, Nigerian Navy, ably represented by Commodore Ago. A round of applause for Commodore Ago as she comes up to the rostrum. Commodore Ago, please. Okay, I'm told he's on his way. Closely following by is AIG Rhoda Olofu of the Maritime Police Command, ably represented by Superintendent of Police Shegun Falemara. A round of applause to him as he joins the ambassador on the rostrum. We also have Madam Rebecca Oladipo of Two Horses Ventures Limited. A round of applause for her as she comes up here. Thank you very much, madam. We are not clapping. Thank you, thank you. Last but not the least is Commander Daniel Wasket. Commander Wasket is of the British Royal Navy, SO2 Maritime. A round of applause for him as he joins the panel. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. For continuation of activities on this panel, I shall hand over to the moderator, Madam Ukonga.
And by the IMO, we have the theme for this meeting, which is navigating the future of African marine and blue economy, safety first. As we all know, that the Gulf of Guinea region is a very important region in terms of everything you can think of in the maritime sector. But there is virtually very little one can do if one considers that it may not be safe. So safety first is really very important. Before we go on, I wish to express my appreciation to the Zone Maritime Resources Limited for their efforts in making sure that the maritime sector in Nigeria is really in tune with the global best practices, because they keep on organizing this meeting every year. This is the 9th edition. And every time they do it, they try to bring in the best practices, what is happening in the global arena, and so that we in Nigeria can also make sure that we are not really lagging behind. This round table is essentially on the maritime security in the Gulf of Guinea. Maritime security and safety in the Gulf of Guinea. I have had the privilege of working at the Gulf of Guinea Commission, and essentially we were concerned with ensuring that the Gulf of Guinea, that's the region, we have the geographical expression as well as the geopolitical definition of the Gulf, is actually safe. And when we're talking of the Gulf, geographically, we start from Côte d'Ivoire. But geopolitically, we start from, I think, Senegal or Cape Verde. And that stretch of the Atlantic Ocean is very, very important for navigational purposes. Apart from its riches in natural resources, all kinds of fishes, we also have the oil and gas, which is very, very important to the world. And we also have the threats that if all these threats are not properly harnessed or controlled or eliminated, we really cannot go further. We have the trafficking, though in the coast of Nigeria and its surrounding countries, that has been reduced to a large extent. Piracy, illicit, illegal activities like smuggling of arms, ammunition, smuggling of human beings, drugs, etc., etc. But I don't know, is there anybody from the I didn't hear. The Navy, the CNA, is it coming? They're supposed to lead the discussion. I don't know whether, because the Navy is very, very important in ensuring security. Sorry, Commodore, you are here. You are from the British Navy. So the Navy is very important in ensuring security in this stretch of waters, as well as, of course, the police and other security agencies. And I must say that the countries of the region have really worked very hard to ensure that some form of collaboration has been achieved. I can testify to that because we worked hard in the commission where I worked for to ensure this happens. We have the centers in different regions, and we now have the Maritime Coordination Task Forces, which the navies are trying, the navies of the region are trying to establish. And the whole idea is that when there is a threat or there is a call, distress call, they should be able to come. And because without security, really, there cannot be sustainable development. And that's the whole essence of marine economy. Having said all that, I would like to call on the representative of the AIG to, kick off the discussion. And that would be maybe the security part, how the police has been engaged in ensuring that we maintain collaboration with the neighboring states as well as ensure arrest and prosecution where necessary.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. My name is Shegun Falemara. I'm here to represent the AIG Maritime Command. And I would like to emphasize more on the role of the Nigerian Police and Maritime Command in securing the Gulf of Guinea. The role of the police is very vital, and of course, our role is always in conjunction with other relevant security agencies like the Navy and other safety agencies such as NEMASA. And that has gone a long way in ensuring that we all collaborate and come together, work together in terms of training, mentoring, provision of equipment and tools in which we use to fight maritime crimes, and also other forms of initiatives which is also put together to ensure an adequate forum for maritime safety and security. And it is very important that I mention here that the key areas of focus for the Nigerian police is for our collaborative patrols and security operations. We collaborate and ensure that we do collaborations with other relevant agencies in terms of patrolling the Gulf of Guinea, although the function of the Marine Police and the Maritime Command is limited to 12 nautical miles from the shore. So most of the enforcement duties, maritime law enforcement duties that we perform is carried out within the 12 nautical miles, except, of course, this may, of course, change when we, on certain occasions where we undergo a hot pursuit of a criminal or a suspect who crosses this boundary. And in terms of that kind of situation, we may extend our enforcement duties beyond 12 nautical miles. We also try to engage in surveillance duties in conjunction with the Navy The Navy, I'm sure when the Navy personnel is here, we'll expand more on the surveillance function of security, such as the Falcon Eye, which is a surveillance integrated system that extends, I think, about 70 nautical miles or thereabouts from the shore to detect any dark activity that is occurring in that area. In terms of capacity building, we have been having a lot of training through regional and international partnership. We assure that our officers are well trained in maritime enforcement to address emerging maritime threats and security challenges. And for regional cooperations, the security of the Gulf of Guinea requires a coordinated effort. That's why we work in conjunction with other maritime security and agencies to ensure that we all achieve a common goal. And I would like to state here that exercises such as the Agwe project, which is sponsored by the United States and anchored by the Interpol. It's a project which involves 5 West African states: Nigeria, Togo, Benin, Ghana, and Cote d'Ivoire. This regional cooperation is essential for us because we collaborate together in terms of sharing information and intelligence. And this has greatly helped us in the interdiction of quite a number of piracy cases in the Gulf of Guinea. And we also have projects such as SWIME's SAR, which is a search and rescue operation training exercise. The project is a West African state aimed at training, mentoring, and providing equipment for boosting maritime security. And while the SWAMS is also to support West African integrated maritime security. We also have quite a number of quick intervention response, such as the MMCCs, which is the Multinational Maritime Coordination Centers, which is aimed at reacting to responses such as maybe piracy or collision or any other incident that may occur within the Gulf of Guinea. In terms of international partnership, we have had quite a lot of partnership with international bodies such as the UNODC. The UNODC Global Maritime Crime Program, organized, which is sponsored by the United States and the United States Nation Office on Drugs and Crime. UNODC initiative has been invaluable in supporting Nigerians' efforts to combat piracy and armed robbery at sea. Through the UNODC, the Danish government has funded training programs that have equipped our officers with visit, board, search and seizure procedures in conjunction with the Nigerian Navy to better combat illegal activities. So the UNODCs have been very, very supportive in terms of providing the avenue for us to get trained on VBSS operations, which is one of the very important aspects of maritime interdiction. And it also helps us in the legal finish of most of these maritime interdictions. And we've also had collaborations to combat proliferations of dangerous materials through collaborations with the IAEA, which is the International Atomic Energy Agency, and And Nigeria has also worked to prevent the smuggling of hazardous materials and weapons of mass of destruction into the Gulf of Guinea. And of course, all these trainings and collaborations would never be possible if there's no enabling law to back us up. This is where the Suppression of Piracy and Other Maritime Offences Act 2019 comes up. This landmark legislation has significantly strengthened Nigeria's legal framework for tackling piracy and other maritime crimes. It is an act that aligns with our national laws and international framework and provides the necessary legal backing for prosecuting offenders in Nigeria. And of course, there are other collaborations that we've had in terms of harmonized standard operating procedures. We have come together with other maritime stakeholders, especially in the security sector, to ensure that we bring up a harmonized standard operating procedures, which will help us, which involves uniform standard for capturing, detaining, and prosecuting maritime criminals, which reduces the loopholes that criminals often exploit across borders. The training, of course, is very, very important. We need to be trained and retrained regularly to ensure we are a step ahead of the criminals. And of course, on a closing note, I would like to mention that Nigeria's commitment to the future of African blues economy is very essential, and we are committed to fostering safety and security across its maritime domain through the enactment of enabling laws, capacity building initiatives, and collaborations with national and international partners. We are steadily navigating the future of our blue economy, and the Nigerian Economic Strategic Roadmap seeks to position the country as a leader in maritime transport, offshore energy, fisheries, tourism, and all of which depends on the secure and safe maritime environment. And in conclusion, securing the Gulf of Guinea is not just a national priority, it's a regional and global imperative. We, as the Nigerian police and the Maritime Command, will continue to lead and collaborate with all stakeholders to ensure that the waters of Nigeria and indeed Africa remain safe and secure. Only by working together can we unlock this full potential of African blue economy while safeguarding our maritime environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, AIG. We really have to congratulate the Nigeria police for all the steps they have taken. From the expose from the IG, you can see that really in the Nigerian police, they are really on top of the situation. I'm quite impressed because you've worked together with the Navy, and at least people are now saying that Nigerian waters are more secure than they were about 5-10 years ago. So all I have to say is that, well, you have to keep it up because the criminals, they don't give up, and unless really they are dealt a very hard blow, that is when they can actually give up the job. And that you can do, well, you can do it in Nigeria, but you have to extend it to other countries of the region. And that takes me to, I would like to call on our next discussant, Madam Rebecca Oladipo Dido. Two, Two Horses Venture. I understand you are a consulting firm on maritime law, maritime security, and to give us a greater insight into what they are doing, because it's both sides. You have the government and you also have the private sector. So they'll be able to tell us how they are collaborating with, whatever initiatives and policies the governments of the region have put together, how they are how they are keying into it to ensure that the objectives are achieved. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good day, everybody. Basically, in the private sector, we are concerned about the safety and security of both the vessel and its crew members. So what we do is to collaborate with the Nigerian Navy to secure the waterways. Apart from the fact that government have put in place different measures to mitigate the crimes in the waterways, like the sea robbery, like the piracy and illegal fishing, we do our best to work with the government to mitigate those threats. Before I delve in further, a little bit of statistics that we've gathered over the years with regards to piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Prior to this time, it dates back to 2019, we had about 26 cases of pirate attack in the Gulf of Guinea. 2020 had the highest. We had about 130 out of the 139 in the global sphere. So the Gulf of Guinea alone had about 130 in 2020. That number reduced drastically in 2021. We had about 45 cases of pirate attack. And then in 2022, we had just 3. And that's because there were initiatives put in place to mitigate those threats, like the Deep Blue Economy Project, where we now have the air, the land, and the sea patrol. So the numbers came down in 2022. In 2023, Q1, Q2 put together, we had about 7 cases. So far in 2024, it was just about 7. The first one happened in the first quarter. I think about 5 crew members were kidnapped, but later released. Then we had another one in June, where 2 persons, crew members, were kidnapped. We're yet to get confirmation if those crew members have been released or not. So with this, the private sector gathered together and formed a body which has always existed, the MASPAN, and where you have maritime security providers, private maritime security providers, work with the Nigerian Navy, because, of course, public-private partnership is encouraged at that point. So we have MASPAN and his members putting in resources, putting their vessels out there to assist the government in ensuring that the waterways is safe. You have Nigerian Navy on board most of these escort vessels, and they escort the vessel to their destination. In the country, we also have strategic locations where security are carrying out their responsibility. So in all of this, the purpose is to achieve a safe environment for both the seafarers and the business owners, because it's going to be very difficult for you to do business if you have a risk of insecurity. Your crew members are going to have a risk to their lives, and then the insurance is going to go up. So it's a win-win for everybody if the waterways is safe. So you have the unreported, unregulated fishing, where people just fish for business purpose. We have the leisure fishing, which is not what is going on. And so all of this is part of economic issues that we have. So imagine everybody is fishing and nobody is regulating it. The IMO has put in place committee for fishing. So it's a regulated business. It's not for leisure most times, except maybe you go out there to the international waters where it's not anybody's jurisdiction. But the whole idea to reduce crime, piracy, sea robbery, where you have your crew members that are not safe because of the unsafe environment. So with these statistics, what did the private and the public partnership bring about? That we have international, what do you call it now, initiatives that has been put in place. We have the Yaoundé Code of Conduct. We have the Anti-Piracy Law of 2019 that set a legal framework for security. We also have the Nigerian Navy's efforts in carrying out the maritime domain awareness for both shipping companies and security companies. These are all measures that have been put in place because apart from the fact that it's a risk to life, it's also a loss in the economic view. You have loss in business. We have a lot of oil and gas companies leaving the country because of insecurity, risks to business. So it's only wise to say that people do business in a safe environment. So the initiative of the private sector is to make sure that government effort is balanced out by assisting. Because if the government don't give us the permission, we cannot really do much of anything. So we have the Navy MOU, which most of the MASPAN members have with the Nigerian Navy. This enables them to have the Navy personnel on board to carry out their pursuit, carry out escort services, and all of that. So the view from the private sector is to collaborate with the Nigerian Navy, collaborate with government to ensure that security of the waterway is top-notch. So it's safe for both crew members and the shipping companies, ship owners, insurance, everybody is involved. And so if the water is safe, is a good and an enabling environment for business to thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. As I said in my introductory remark, definitely government is to create the right environment, and they can't do it alone. They have to do it with people in the private sector. Government is not very good at businesses, and businesses create jobs for more people than government does. And now we know that all these things are being done, and we do have international partners that are also involved in the Gulf of Guinea in ensuring security and safety, in helping the Navy, the police, and everybody around. They also have their interests to protect. Well, they have their shipping lines that they need that seaway. And it is in everybody's interest if the seaway is safe and secure. And they know that the countries of the region, if all this is left to them alone, they may not be in the position to ensure the type of security required for the type of international businesses and trade that are expected to be carried out, and also the exploitation and exploration of resources that are going on in that region. And the AIG has actually mentioned some of the programs and assistance that they have received, both at the level of training. I don't know whether they also supply equipment and funding that they have they have obtained from the international community. We do have here Commander Daniel Wascott from the British Royal Navy, and I'm sure he'll give us a greater insight into what the international community is doing to team up, very important, team up with the navies and the security agencies of the region to ensure that the region is actually kept safe and secure for legitimate businesses and industry to thrive. It is my pleasure to hand over the microphone to you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Distinguished guests, ladies and gents, let me stand on existing protocol and continue on. I was delighted to receive an invite down to your symposium for the next few days, just so I can explain a little bit more about what the UK Royal Navy is doing. Sorry, I'm going to need that. And the UK efforts in the Gulf of Guinea with the UK strategy. So fundamentally, the UK government strategy is to establish long-term and mutually beneficial partnerships with African nations. These will build on our shared interests for a safer, healthier, and more prosperous future for us all. However, like many nations committed to ensuring a free, secure global commons, maintenance of the international rules-based order, and supporting democracy, the UK is experiencing a time of increased operational demand. The Royal Navy is deployed globally at a scale unprecedented for many years. Destroyers and frigates are protecting shipping in the Red Sea to ensure that trade can continue freely. There is a persistent presence in the North Arabian Gulf and waters around Cyprus in response to the crisis in Israel and occupied Palestinian territories, which offer options to the UK government for delivering aid or evacuation. Tensions in Europe, as you'll know, are extremely high, which demands constant protection of home waters and support to NATO. Meanwhile, the Royal Navy is committed to maintaining a presence in the Indo-Pacific and Caribbean regions to assist island nations in protecting their territorial waters and resources which are naturally theirs. Yet the Gulf of Guinea is an integral part of international maritime security, and success here brings dividends not just to African partners, but second-order effects felt worldwide. Thus, collaboration on the security of the Gulf of Guinea remains a fundamental part of UK strategy and is prioritised over other activity and investments. The UK is delivering projects that promote mutual prosperity, address the long-term upstream drivers of instability, illegal migration and conflict, and are assisting African partners in becoming less reliant on aid and more resilient to shocks and stresses that include climate change. The UK supports multilateral fora that empower West African countries to lead the solution to maritime security, including ECOWAS, the African Union, and the Gulf of Guinea Commission, and of course the Yaoundé architecture. This includes the regular provision of funding, embedded liaison officers, and support to exercises. The UK was a founder member of the G7++ Friends of Gulf of Guinea, a forum which allows international support to the Yaoundé Code of Conduct, co-chairing a summit in 2021 and maintaining support ever since, bringing committed partners together for the exchange of ideas and best practice. Key to the support of the Yaoundé architecture has been the instigation and continued delivery of the MDAT, Maritime Domain Awareness for Trade Gulf of Guinea, which is conducted jointly with our French partners. This has given industry up-to-date threat assessments, information for passage planning, and reporting mechanisms, which has contributed to the reduction in offshore piracy and insurance premiums. Whilst offshore piracy has declined, the continued utility of the MDAT is clear. The UK is an active participant in regional exercises, supporting nations where possible through provision of training teams, if not ships. Unfortunately, pressing operations precluded regular visitor HMS Trent from participating in the recent Obangami Express. But this has strengthened resolve for the UK to participate in the French-led Grand African Nemo. This includes support to Gambian naval forces in training and mentoring, embedded officers into MCCs, and late last week, the Minister for Armed Forces committed RFA Lime Bay, a 16,000-ton amphibious assault ship, to participate in the exercise. And we are in the process of requesting port visits across West Africa, including Ghana and Nigeria. At a bilateral level, the UK is conducting many capability building programs across West Africa, and the Gulf of Guinea. Before the end of the year, Cabo Verde will receive new maritime UAVs and training to combat narcotics and human trafficking. In Senegal, the UK is providing new coastal and patrol boat radars, plus headquarters facilities to boost their domain awareness. Gambia and Sierra Leone will receive new RIBs, UAVs, support packages and training to target narcotics and illegal fishing. Work is underway with Ghanaian partner forces to develop a riverine capability to tackle inshore instability. But meanwhile, in Nigeria, the UK has provided visit, board, search, seize training to the Nigerian Navy for many years, and is now assisting the training centre in becoming a regional hub, able to offer accredited courses to neighbours and expand into new areas to meet changing threats. The Nigerian Navy SBS is, as we speak, undergoing advanced opposed boarding training with the UK Royal Marine Commandos in the first iteration of training in response to a changing demand from the Nigerian Navy. This is an extension of a well-established partnership which has typically revolved around land special operations skills, as evidenced in Exercise Flintlock earlier this year, but is now hoping to match training and skills to the variety of roles that the unit is tasked with. At the conceptual level, the UK has been highly active in providing professional military education to both Nigerian and regional senior officers, from doctrine writing to intelligence to operational planning. This has extended to assistance in developing the newly conceived Nigerian Navy Leadership Academy, which is to be modelled on its UK counterpart and provides an excellent opportunity for the continued professional development of the Navy's personnel and to thus ensure the long-term security of the Gulf of Guinea. Meanwhile, cross-government work includes the UK Blue Planet Fund, supporting a wide range of marine issues, notably counter-illegal fishing support in Senegal and Ghana, where they've delivered inspection and regulation training and equipment, plus work to improve transparency, adherence to national laws, and combat corruption. Work has also extended into developing aquaculture, environmental protection, and support to coastal communities. The UK Home Office is working closely with port and maritime security forces across the region to counter corruption, narcotics, and human trafficking. Provision of equipment, training, and intelligence has led to some notable successes. The UK views the development of the blue economy as vital to growth in West Africa, and for this to flourish requires obviously a secure domain. The UK has demonstrated a long-term commitment to assisting partners in achieving this, which is absolutely complementary to our values of democracy, rule of law, and international human rights. The UK is keen to coordinate better with other partners in the region to harmonise training delivery and avoid a saturation of recipients. This will make much more efficient use of the resource of all involved and produce an effect greater than the sum of its parts. This stems from a common threat picture, which is why the UK is leading a combined security symposium in February 25 with Nigeria, France, and the USA. The UK recognises the imperative of the blue economy to the Gulf of Guinea and West Africa and is evidenced and committed to supporting endeavours to improve its security and harnessing its potential. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commander. Well, the UK, you can see that the United Kingdom has done a lot, not only for Nigeria, for the other countries of the region, in ensuring that in terms of training, in terms of support, funding of our regional institutions, like the Yaoundé Code of Conduct, and I know that they've done a lot. And I would like to thank the UK government for all the support they have given, and that they should please continue to ensure that whatever partnership and whatever support they are given, the interests of the countries of the region, as well as the interests of the people, in terms of development, economic development, is also taken into consideration. I thank the UK government, and I hope they will continue to give the necessary support as and when due in terms of training, equipment, logistics, and everything. Thank you very much, Commander, for that brilliant expose. Okay. Distinguished participants, I'm sorry, but I would like to welcome the Commodore that came. Well, I don't want to put him on the spot, but I must say we are a bit disappointed that the Navy was not here when we started, because from what I heard, they were to lead the discussion. But we're happy you came, and we'd like to call on you to let us have the Navy perspective of all the efforts they have done. I've stood in on your behalf because I know that the navies, especially the Nigerian Navy, I know what efforts they have made in ensuring the security of our waters and in extending that support to our neighboring states. That's why I was a bit disappointed that you are not here. But I'm happy you're here, and you give us a more professional, expose on all the efforts they have taken, and in especially the international collaboration that they have extended to other neighboring states. So it's my pleasure to call on Commodore Agu to give us the Navy perspective on the efforts to ensure safety and security in the Gulf in order to enhance marine economy and development in the Gulf of Guinea. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. The organizers of this Lagos International Maritime Exposition 2024, I want to, on behalf of the Navy, apologize for arriving the venue slightly later than scheduled. The ship is what we use in moving about. So they may not necessarily move as fast as the land equipment. So once again, I want to apologize for not being able to lead this session. However, I am here to speak about what the Navy is doing towards promoting maritime security in Nigeria, as well as the Nigeria area of interest, which is the Gulf of Guinea. The Nigerian Navy was established in 1956 and charged with a mandate of maritime security of the maritime domain of the country, protection of the maritime domain of Nigeria, while also supporting other agencies such as the Nigerian Customs, Nigerian Immigration Service, and most recently, other agencies, maritime agencies, in ensuring security of the maritime domain. The Navy, therefore, stands out as the lead agency in terms of maritime security in Nigeria's maritime space. Having said that, and that over the years, we have been performing this role, contributing significantly to the protection of Nigeria's maritime space, while also supporting other agencies to achieve their mandate. Before now, we have cases of insecurity in the maritime domain, serious insecurity in terms of sea robbery, piracy, amongst other vices in the maritime space. However, realizing the importance of the maritime domain towards advancing Nigeria's self-reliance, as well as being able to leverage and harness the enormous resources of Nigeria's maritime space, the Navy needed to step up its game to ensure that the maritime space is both secure and safe. In this regards, we've emplaced several measures in terms of acquiring platforms through the support of the federal government, to patrol the maritime domain in order to show adequate presence to curb all those illegalities that occur in the maritime domain. Similarly, we have also in place measures such as the Naval Security Station, they call it the choke point regime, because crimes like crude oil theft that occur in the maritime space, vessels need to pass through several choke points, what they refer to as choke points within the maritime space. So we have vessels stationed there so as to prevent and deter would-be crude oil thieves from using that space unfettered. Similarly, the Nigerian Navy has also promoted, let's say, strategic partnership with the navies of the West African region, especially the ones that are within the Gulf of Guinea, the Republic of Benin, Ghana Navy. Of late, we had a conference, the International Maritime Conference, which took place between 30th and 31st of May. And this is a recurring conference whereby the Navy works with other chiefs of naval staffs from various navies, especially within the African continent, the Gulf of Guinea region, as well as other global navies, to see how we can collectively tackle maritime security, especially around the Gulf of Guinea, knowing that the Gulf of Guinea is a strategic maritime space for both trade, commerce, and the growth of those nations within that region. So, in terms of capacity building, we are working closely with our partners from both other ministries and agencies of government and the private sector to ensure that we're able to tackle most of the maritime challenges, especially as it borders on transnational crime, local development, especially developing the navies within the Gulf of Guinea region, assisting them, collaborating with them, talking with them, and working with them towards ensuring that that space is safe and secure so that each and every one of those countries will be able to benefit from the vast, enormous resources within that space and also profit from maritime trade, especially around the Gulf of Guinea. So the Navy, in this regard, has been galvanizing, especially most of the navies within the region, while also working with our partners, both at the global scene and the regional scene, to ensure that we promote maritime security so that those nations can benefit from the maritime domain. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commodore. We have come to the end of the discussions. I don't know. I can just sum up that all the participants at this panel, all the panelists, have given us different perspectives of what their organizations have been doing. We have the police, and they have really, according to the presentation, cooperated with the Navy as well as other security agencies to ensure that the waters are kept safe and that even criminals, when they are apprehended, are prosecuted and sentenced to act as deterrent. We also have a lady from the Two Horse, and he has explained how the private sector is partnering or cooperating with the government to ensure that the objectives of having a safe and secure maritime domain, not only in the waters of Nigeria, but also in the regional waters of the Gulf of Guinea, it become a reality to achieve the same objectives as the government, because definitely the private sector cannot formulate the policies and they cannot go and start working with other organizations outside the country. But they have teamed up with the government and they are really they are contributing their own quota to ensuring that the waters of the Gulf of Guinea are safe for businesses, ships, and everybody who wants to do legitimate business there. Because there are a lot of people who want to do illegitimate activities there. We have the police and the Navy who are on their necks and they pursue them vigorously, and we hope that they will catch all the bad guys and put them where they belong. And we also have the international dimension. The UK government have been very, very, very supportive, not only to Nigeria, but to other institutions in the region, as well as to other governments and countries of the region, for the same purpose of ensuring the safety and security of the waters of the Gulf, so that international trade can actually go unhindered. Because no matter where you want to go, whether you are going from South Africa or from wherever, to Europe, or to Latin America, to the Americas, necessarily you have to pass through the Gulf of Guinea. And if that place is not safe, and it's lacking or is not up to the standard expected, the bad elements will take over. Well, they are very smart and they are well trained too. So you really have to battle them to make sure you are 2-3 steps ahead of them. And finally, we have the presentation from the Commodore from the Nigerian Navy. The Nigerian Navy really has collaborated a great deal with other navies of the region. I know that because I worked with them. And the chiefs of naval staff, they have even come together. I don't know, the conference he referred to, I know that they were trying to even establish what they call the Combined Naval Task Force, which will include not only the navies, but all other security agencies in different countries. So in case there is need for intervention, it's like the land standby forces, they'll be able to intervene. And the Nigerian government has actually done a great deal for the Nigerian Navy. They have empowered them. They have given them resources to acquire the vessels and the training and everything they really require to make sure that they are able and capable of really defending the waters of the region. Not just the territorial waters, but even up to the EEZ and beyond. I think somebody mentioned the Falcon Eye, which can go far, and they have cooperated with other navies of the region, and they're doing very well. So you can see that efforts are ongoing at all levels of the security management of the country, and the regional organizations too have also keyed into this to ensure that it's not just one country that is doing it, that all the other countries also participate and contribute towards ensuring the safety and security. Because the maritime region is not like the borders, where you just close your border and nothing comes across, though even that is not as secure. You have this vast expanse of land, and you really have to collaborate with your next neighbor. And you do also have the overlapping economic zones. So there should be, and there is, a lot of collaboration among the different maritime security agencies to ensure that the waters of the Gulf of Guinea are kept safe and secure for legitimate activities. Piracy has reduced considerably. IUU, well, I don't know whether they have succeeded as much. Arms smuggling and people trafficking, that has reduced also considerably, and that is thanks to the collaborative efforts of the different national agencies, as well as the collaboration and cooperation of the agencies at the international level with the active support and collaboration of the international partners. And for this, we thank everyone who has participated in this discussion, and we hope that they will not be tired. They will continue to give of their best in terms of support, financial and everything. In terms of financial and everything, to ensure that what has been achieved so far is taken up to the next level, where we can have cruises without being molested, because we have a lot of advantages. We have a lot of things. We are talking of blue economy. Blue economy is not just in terms of oil and gas or shipping of goods. You can also have, we go to the Caribbean, we go to the, Americas for leisure trips. Why can't we do it from Senegal to Angola? You can't do it if you don't know whether pirates will kidnap you, or whether your ships will break down, or whether it will be polluted and you'll be able to fare. These are things that we really have to collaborate. We are ready, and I would like to call on the audience, on the other side of the divide, if there are questions to any of our discussants, and we can take questions and then they'll give the answers. Yes, I can see the lady in pink. Thank you.
Good morning again to all. I appreciate all the panelists for your excellent presentation. Maritime security is indeed something of great concern to us in Nigeria, especially because of a few things that we have seen happening. Apart from kidnapping that the moderator just talked about, there is also the issue of theft, oil theft of our national natural resources, the oil. For those of us in particular from Niger Delta, we have seen a lot of good and bad that oil has done to us. And oil theft does not help the environment, and it does not help the economy. Unfortunately, oil theft also has dug a deep hole into Nigeria's pocket. But one thing we should all know is that oil is not, you cannot go into, it's not like something you go into a shop and pick and put in your pocket without anybody seeing you. So I was pleased to hear the representative of the Navy telling us that there were, I think you said, some vessels stationed, I think maybe somewhere to prevent the crude oil theft. I think something like that.
Choke point.
Yes, and that, yeah. My question then is, with this vessel station, with the fact that I think one of the presentations said the Navy had the ability to, will I use the word scan, 70 nautical miles, while police also does 12 nautical miles of the continental shelf. I think I heard something like that. How come we are not seeing those people stealing our oil? It cannot be rocket science that we cannot get to, that somebody will come and pack our oil and go away. How come we are not seeing it? That's my question. It's a very down-to-earth question. I don't want to use the technical jargons, but that's my question.
It's a very important question, and it's really is one of the most topical issues that are being debated, in Nigeria. So I would like the Commodore to give an answer to that, and any member of the panel, if they have other things to say, can contribute towards giving a robust answer to the person who has put the question. Commodore, you have the floor.
Thank you for the very, very interesting question. In terms of crude oil theft, since the establishment of since the country started exploring crude oil, there's been cases whereby some of the explored products don't get to their required destination or to their required clients or the authorized clients, as so to say. Over the years, in the 90s, we had that reached an early 2000, that reached a very troubling level. However, in recent times, with the acquisition of the Regional Maritime Awareness Capability, which is capable of monitoring activities deep within Nigeria's maritime space, to a large extent, we are able to see and deter those that want to steal crude oil within our space. Similarly, Nigerian Navy has what they refer to as the Falcon Eye to complement the monitoring of activities within the maritime domain. To a large extent, if you want to look at Nigeria's maritime space, you have what they refer to as the Atlantic Ocean, or water bodies beyond the Atlantic Ocean. You have the territorial water contiguous zone up to the economic exclusive zone. You also have what they refer to as the backwaters, which include the rivers, tributaries. And you have oil facilities or oil deposits within the backwaters, as well as well into the territorial waters and up to the economic exclusive zone. We also have the pipeline network for exploring some of this oil. They run all through those regions where they have maritime, where they have resources located. So you have a situation whereby you have a large maritime domain, which is about 84,000 square nautical miles. That's about 180,000, over 184,000 square kilometers for these maritime awareness capability to monitor. You have equally naval vessels that patrol each and every one of the commands. You have at least 2 naval vessels that patrol this very vast maritime domain, while also complementing what we do in terms of regional awareness surveillance. However, some of the pipes, the theft of crude oil could be done not necessarily using vessels. You have a situation whereby you have individuals or groups going to break pipelines to siphon some of the oil which are being pumped to some of the flow station. So it's so to say, a very complicated and complex issue, which the Navy is intensifying effort, reviewing its strategy to continuously combat crude oil theft, which, to a large extent, is a serious burden to the nation. To this end, we have recorded a drastic drop in the level of theft. That doesn't mean it is all uhuru for us, but we are continuously re-strategizing to further bring down the level of the theft so that at the end, the nation will be proud to say we have sold the resources that we have explored and gain or derive the maximum benefit from exploring those resources. In a nutshell, or in rounding up, just to tell you that the crude oil theft has been so ingrained over the years in Nigeria's maritime and oil sector. However, the Navy is continuously evolving and reviewing its strategy to continuously combat, recording enormous reduction in the quantities that groups and individuals are able to pilfer from the Nigeria's reserve. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I would just like to add to what the Commodore has said, that yes, he did say the backwaters, the pipes bring the thing from the exploration point to the float stations, and some people will go and break the pipelines. Apart from the deterrent and you military, you call it kinetic or whatever, how about getting the population involved and creating a sort of employment for them so that they will not be attracted by these negative activities. I know the negative activities, they bring money, fast money. But if they can be, it needs a lot of mental reorientation that in the long run, because you see, they break the pipelines, they spoil the environment. The people who take the money will take the thing away, but they will have to live with polluted waters. You go to rivers, you can't even buy fish because all the fishes have run away. These are the, well, I don't know. The government should also think of that, and the Navy in proposing how you can deter, how you can follow them, can pursue them. Also, maybe you should also be proposing, look, how do we get the local population to know that it is also in their interest, in the interest of the majority, not just the one or two people who make the money, in the interest of the majority and in the interest of the community and of generations yet unborn, to make sure that this environment is kept clean, give them jobs that they will not want to break the pipeline, siphon the oil, and spoil the environment for everybody. Because at the end of the day, everybody suffers, either in terms of bad health or polluted waters or, you know, we should also be doing that. And that should be really not just the Navy, but everybody from that area who know people who are into it and say, look, this thing you are doing is not good. That's my own contribution. And I think we should pursue that as vigorously as we are pursuing the acquisition of vessels and all kinds of things. Yes, please give to the, yes, that guy. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Godwin. I'm a stakeholder in the maritime industry. I'd like to ask the Commodore a question, and I also want to extend that question to the commander, the British commander. I don't know if you can also look into it. It's a bit aside what we are discussing here. It has to do with the issue of bunkering license for vessels.
Sorry,
I said it has to do with the issue of bunkering license for vessels. Right? Yes, right now, the Benin Republic and I think Togo are taking the shine of Nigeria, even though they don't have the kind of crude we have here. But most vessels bunker there. Most vessels are bunkered in this country. For the Navy, I don't know if it's statutorily the function of the Navy to issue these licenses. And I don't know if the same thing applies in Britain. It takes about 48 hours or more for the Navy to issue bunkering licenses, but in Togo, it takes less than an hour. And this thing is, driving business away from this country. So I don't know if the same thing applies in Britain. I also want the Commodore to react to this. Thank you very much.
I'll start just because I'm nearer. But in the UK, it categorically would not happen. So for us, we are completely divorced from any sort of business activity because that cannot lead to any accusations of malpractice. The license and the issuing, I can't speak to, but I would not know the timeline, so I'd just be speculating. But yeah, definitely wouldn't be a Navy function.
Okay, thank you for your question. In terms of bunkering within obtaining the stress or the difficulty in obtaining a bunkering license, you could see that part of the strategies adopted by the Navy in trying to ensure that we reduce bunkering, the illegal bunkering, which is part of the maritime crime that we observe, that whereby ships go to obtain product or crude from unauthorized sources and they're able to transfer or sell it. That is one of the hurdles that the Nigerian Navy has in place, and that is why it takes maybe slightly longer to be able to get those licenses. For instance, if I have a product to bunker, especially for vessel, maybe at sea, it takes a while. Because you understand that if you Google now, if you take Google or browse the net and find and type crude oil theft, the only place that it can appear is around the Gulf of Guinea region or within Nigeria's maritime domain. So it's part of the step to make sure that the Navy is able to verify the source of that product that you are trying to sell. Until they can do that, they can't give you to bunker or try to sell it. I must provide clearance for the source, from the source where I got that product from, and we must be able to verify that that product was obtained from that source, because we have cases whereby maritime operators or ship owners go to sources that are unauthorized from illegally refining sites to procure some of these products. And those products are obtained from the theft of oil. So it's a chain from the theft of the oil to illegal refining sites, then to various vendors. So we try to, as a way, break that link so that it becomes very difficult for people to procure or steal first, then procure from unauthorized sources, which includes the illegal refineries that we have dotted all across our maritime domain. And the Navy is doing so much. If you've ever seen any of those kind of operations being conducted, you see that those terrains are very challenging. In 2023 alone, the Navy destroyed over 1,500 illegal refining sites, whereby people go break pipes, siphon the oil, go and cook it inside the creek, damage the environment, damage the water bodies around that side, and that is only possible when you have a ready market waiting for them. So as much as possible, the Navy is using that as a strategy to be able to curb illegal refined products from being sold within the maritime space. So I want to apologize if it takes longer, but as much as possible, we are trying to streamline those processes to make sure that we have better ways of verifying the products so that you can quickly get those licenses to do your legitimate business. Thank you.
I'll take two. Is it 2 or 3 hands? Is it 1 hand here or 2 hands there? I see 1 here and another one there. Okay, we'll take 2 maximum. 1 here, I think the lady is already taking the floor. Though I haven't given her the floor, but she stood up to make sure she asked her question. And after that, the gentleman there. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Gloria Canabe. I'm the managing partner of Hudson G. I'm a maritime consultant. I've been in the industry for over 35 years. And the reason why I raised my hand is not because of all the papers that were presented. The issue of security, we all know, has been on for years. But particularly, I'm so impressed by the paper the policeman presented. And that's why I want to commend the Nigerian police, that they are now in tandem with things that are relevant. I'll share an experience with you, officer. If you go to Apapa Port, and you find, maybe customs find a container with contraband in quotes, the length of time these containers are detained in that police environment is not interesting. And also, secondly, I want to appreciate, you remember recently, 2 shipping line staff were arrested because of illegality. And I was impressed because it happened during the time of a woman being in leadership. Put your hands on a woman. So I said, I want to thank you for your paper, very impressive, and I hope that you give me a copy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. At least when our agencies are working, they need to be commended. Thank you. Yes?
All right. Good day, everybody. Thank you very much. All right. So my question goes to the superintendent. Our conversations has been around, my name is Daniel. I'm a maritime consultant and IT professional in the tech world. So my question goes to you, sir. Lately, our conversations has been around international shipping, domains, international waters and strategies and stuff like that. But I want to take us back inward, right? When she started speaking, she spoke about the risk of doing business in Bonny, the Niger deltas and stuff. But lately, we've seen such conversations coming over to areas like Lagos. Recently, a couple of business people were apprehended on just taking leisure boats and stuff like that, just enjoying themselves. I want to know, is that your responsibility to protect them? And what's the Nigerian police doing in protecting small boats, leisure boats, and our inland waterways? And remember you said you'll cover about 12 nautical miles. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Yes, one of our major responsibilities is to ensure the security and safety of life and property within the 12 nautical miles. So I didn't get your question very well. Is it that some people were arrested and there was nothing done about it? Or I didn't get that, please. I want to clarify that.
So what I was saying is that a couple of business people, foreigners, right, they were apprehended by some bad state actors. I mean, they were just having fun on a boat, I think around the Lekki inland waterways or something like that. So thankfully they've been recovered, they've been safe, right? I just want to know, what's the police doing about protecting people who are navigating our inland waterways? I just want to know. Thank you.
Okay. Usually on leisure, people going on leisure escorts and on their own personal pleasure. I will advise that if you're going on that kind of pleasure ride, you ensure you have escorts and maybe protective personnel to help you, to assist you, or just to cover you in terms of your security. The waters, though we thank God that the waters is a bit safe and everything is moving on well, and but then you should not rest on your oars and just leave the security aspect of it. Ensure, especially foreigners, it is advisable you go with escorts and ensure that you have a personnel that help you and protect you. So because, but in terms of reporting an incident, I'm sure the police will quickly respond to any incident that occurs within this area. And I'm sure you heard about the last kidnapping that occurred is it the owner of a big conglomerate electronic company. They were rescued by the Nigerian police and in collaboration with the Navy about 24 or 48 hours after they were kidnapped. So it's always very advisable that you come up with your own plan to ensure that you are secured anytime you're on pleasure ride. Thank you.
The Commodore wants to add some things.
Okay, thank you for your question. Just a quick intervention to throw more light on what the officer from the Nigerian police has stated. The maritime domain is free for all to explore globally. As much as possible, most governments and government agencies try to make that safe. In the case of Nigeria, we have various agencies trying to see how we can sanitize the maritime environment, because in the past, we usually have miscreants or people who don't have any business being at sea, going there to perpetrate all sorts of crime, be it sea robbery, pollution, piracy, and the rest. So there's this synergy between the Nigerian police and other maritime security agencies, and a common effort to push so that we can make the Nigerian maritime domain very safe for legal seafarers to be able to use that space for economic benefit. And to a large extent, we have people or groups still trying to exploit those that go to the sea to do their legal business. So collectively, as agencies of government, we have a responsibility to make sure that the Nigerian maritime domain is rid of all those kind of people that come there to perpetrate all illegalities. And in this regard, you have the Nigeria Police Marine Department also pushing in that regard. You have the Nigerian Navy, the NPA, Nigerian Ports Authority, who incidentally equally have equipment to enhance their maritime domain awareness. You have also NIMASA equally driving in that regard, trying to ensure proper ocean governance, to ensure that those that don't have any business being at sea or carrying out any illegality within the maritime domain, you can quickly pick and interrogate such people so that they don't operate with impunity, they don't operate unfettered, to ensure that those who have the authorization to use the maritime space for business use it securely and safely. Thank you.
Thank you. We agreed that was going to be the last question. And we thank all those who have answered, those who have posed the questions, and all those who have tried to answer them. It's now my duty to thank the panelists, from the Superintendent of Police, Falimara Shegun, who represented the AIG, for his brilliant expose on what the Marine Police Department is doing to ensure, in close collaboration, because he did mention, in close collaboration with the Nigerian Navy and other maritime security agencies, to ensure that, to the best of their capacity and ability, they want to keep the maritime environment, or at least of Nigeria, safe. Because you have to start, charity, they say, begins at home. And we also want to thank our colleague here, Madam Rebecca Aflabikito Oladipo. What's it? Madam Rebecca Oladipo, for letting us know what the private sector is doing to collaborate with government to ensure their own contribution to maritime security and safety. And of course, Commander Daniel Wasket of the British Navy, we thank you for your participation and for letting us know what the UK government is doing, not only to Nigeria, but to the regional institutions and other countries. And we hope that the government will continue to extend its support and assistance to work together with all the security agencies in the region to maintain a safe and secure environment for international trade and security, especially in that very important seaway of the Gulf of Guinea. And of course, the last but not the least, to our Commodore Agu, who came and gave us what the Navy is doing in Nigeria and in the region, and with the other international partners to make sure that Nigerian Navy is on top of the situation at any given time in providing safety and security in the region and in enhancing the marine economy and developing the economic, sustainable economic activities for not only the countries of the region, but for also the people. On this note, I thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that all these things we will put into practice, we continue to pursue them till the ultimate goal of making the Gulf of Guinea a safe and secure place for business, for leisure, and for anything legal that we feel we want to do with it. Thank you for your attention.
Oh, we can do better than that. It's a round of applause for this beautiful panel, please. Thank you very much. We shall invite the paparazzi for a group photograph with the convener.
It's fine. Okay, better.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for them as they come down from the platform, please. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We shall have a slight amendment to the program for the day. While we're supposed to go directly into the second panel session, so that we can expect votes. Thank you very much.
mission, developing maritime capacities, expanding maritime frontiers. Edition of the latest International Maritime Week and International Maritime Business to Business Conference on the 12th September 2024 with the theme Navigating the Future of Africa's Marine and The last International Maritime Week is a program set apart to be a solution provider to the maritime challenges facing Africa, Nigeria in particular. It is a private sector initiative that has received the support of the federal government of Nigeria. Expanding maritime frontiers.
Blue economy, safety in inland waters, and growth of blue economy. To undertake the moderation of this panel is none other than Kashimba Sumba Esquire. Ms. Sumba is a legal practitioner. A round of applause as Madam Sumba comes to the platform, please. I hope we are not tired, please. I need to hear a louder applause. Let's make her welcome, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. Other members of the panel include Mr. Lawrence Smith. Mr. Smith is the Chief Operations Officer of the Lekki Port. A round of applause as we welcome Mr. Smith up to the platform, please. Can we continue to clap until he comes? Or he's not here? I'm sure he'll join us soon. We also recognize the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council, Mr. Paus Ukeima Akuta, ably represented by Mr. Yusuf Meungwar. Mr. Meungwar is a Director of Trade Services in the Nigerian Shippers Council. A round of applause as we welcome Mr. Meungwar, please. A round of applause, please. I know he's around. I'm sure he will join us soon. The last but not the least on the panel is Mrs. Irogama Ogbeifun, the Managing Director of Stars Investments Company Limited. She is represented here by Mrs. Sophie Uzo. A round of applause for her, please, as she comes up. Thank you very much. Please, let's keep making them welcome, please. Thank you very much. Please, if there are participants outside, please come in so that we can continue. I'd like to hand over the microphone to the moderator of this panel so that we can get it going. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we'll just wait 5 minutes so that the other panelists can join us, so we'll have a more robust session. Thank you.
2024 edition of the Lagos International Maritime Week and the 9th International Maritime Business to Business Conference and Exhibition scheduled for the 10 to 12 September 2024.
Panel and attendees at this conference, we welcome you to the second session for today. We're about to start the panel. We trust that other members of the panel will join as we come along. My name is Kashima Natumba. I'll be moderating the panel. With me is Sophie from Stars Investments. We also have Lawrence joining us from Lekki Deep Sea Port. So now we're going to give the panelists that are here the opportunity to just run us through their roles in what they do regarding the topics that we have. Our discussion is going to scan across 3 topics: adaptation of new technologies for smart ports in Africa, fleet development and growth of the blue economy, and safety in inland waters and the growth of the blue economy. So I'm just going to start with Sophie.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Standing on existing protocol, my name is Sophia Uzo. I work for Stars Investments Company Limited. Stars is a marine logistics firm. We've been in operation for 36 years. So basically what we do is we provide logistics support to oil and gas installations. We do this using specialized vessels. And I think my topic today is on fleet development and the blue economy, so I'm just going to talk about that briefly before I hand over to the moderator.
So all of us sitting here, we all know that blue economy remains one of the best solutions if we are going to diversify Nigeria's economy away from oil and gas and reduce our dependence on oil. However, both the private sector and the government have a role to play to achieve this. And one of the major means of achieving this is through fleet development. So I'm going to start from Nigeria and then moving to Africa. So currently in Nigeria, we probably have a vessel mix of mainly offshore vessels. We have some container vessels. We have tankers as well. A few fishing trawlers. But you see that the majority of our vessel mix is from the oil and gas space. The implication of this is for the blue economy, which encompasses other things like leisure. We have inland water travel, that's the ferries, and we have fishing. Those aspects of the blue economy have been largely ignored or underdeveloped. Then I'll move to another focus here. We have revenue loss from these underdeveloped aspects of the blue economy. We have job opportunities that could have come up in our rural areas that were lost. We have attendant industries, trade that could have also gone on or increased in, let me say, the routes along the inner waterways that have not been able to achieve. So basically, there is need to develop a plan, a concrete plan for fleet development, which is fleet acquisition. And this fleet acquisition, moving away from oil and gas, will focus on these key aspects of the blue economy. Now, there is also the African Continental Trade Agreement, which without a fleet, we will not be able to harness. I think there's a current need for about 121 vessels across Africa to meet intra-African trade. So in terms of developing a fleet, we would need to come up with measures. Now, presently, if you were to get up and say, I want to buy a vessel and I want to trade either in Nigeria or within the African space, we have a number of regulatory issues. And these issues stem from policies that are not very straight or policies that are constantly changing. And that means that people who want to invest in that space are reluctant. We also have a problem of funding because it's a very capital-intensive venture. We don't have banks that are willing to give us funding maybe at single-digit interest rates, or sometimes the funding is just not available and people are not able to acquire vessels. We also have issues that relate to trade barriers across the continent. So if I procure a vessel for trade within Africa, or say for even inter-waterways travel between states, I will be battling with different agencies on who I'm paying levies to and who is collecting revenue from me. So those are some of the hindrances to fleet development. But what can we do about this situation? Like from the private sector perspective, what we've started to do is to partner with international companies. Welcome, sir. So what we're trying to do now is to identify like global players or regional players that we can partner with to acquire vessels. Because of the costs, it's always easier to start from chartering or your JV partnerships. And as you progress in your business relationship, you begin to generate experience in the space and the ability to acquire these vessels. So from private sector perspective, that is how we see that we can develop a fleet for the African trade and for the African blue economy. From the government's perspective, what we need would just be an enabling environment, and this has to be both regulatory in terms of the policies that they will give to us that would align with other states, because like if we're doing African trade, some of the policies will need to align. But if we don't